Hi everyone, this is called My Very First Keyboard Book. This is one of our favorites at our house. It's a really fun book for kids who are interested in music or learning to play the piano. This is my 3-year-old's favorite song, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It has these colored dots that show you which colored notes to play. And there's a bunch of songs in here and there's scales, and it's a fun way to learn about some music. This next book is called There's a Mouse About the House. It has this little mouse that goes with it. And the little mouse slides into the slot, goes inside the house, pops out on the next page, and you make the mouse follow the dotted lines. He goes, there's a cat, so he's running away from the cat, follows the dotted lines, goes up into the pantry. I'm holding this book right now. So then there's this story that goes along with the mouse running through the house. And this is a fun book to keep kids engaged while you're reading, and it also is good to teach kids left to right correspondence as they follow the dotted lines through the book. Store your mouse in there. We also have a book called A Squirrel's Tale that's similar to this. This next one is one of my favorite read-alouds. It's called Jonathan James and the What If Monster. It's about this boy named Jonathan who has this little what if monster that fills his head with what ifs and doubts and worries. So when he's trying to climb a tree, the monster says, what if you tumble? What if there's wind? What if you slip and your knee gets all skinned? And it goes throughout the book, and the monster just talks about all the bad things that might happen every time Jonathan James is trying to do something. And then one day Jonathan says, but what if you're wrong? What if those things don't happen? And Jonathan turns everything around, and he says, what if I climb to the top of that tree and I never slip or skin up a knee? And he just turns everything to the positive and all the good things that can happen if he takes the chances. So this is a fun story with a great lesson. This is another story I really like with a great lesson. It's called A Tale of Two Beasts. It's about this little girl and this beast that she finds in the forest. And she finds this beast hanging upside down in a tree, and she thinks that he is crying, and so she gets him down from the tree and wraps him up in her coat and rescues him and takes him home to her house. And he ends up running away from her house at the end, and she's really sad, and then he comes back. And then he tells his side of the story. And his side of the story is that he was hanging happily from his favorite tree, and then the little girl came along and kidnapped him and tied him up and took him to a cage in her house. And so it's just about the two different perspectives, but then in the end they learn to understand each other's perspective and become friends. So that's a fun story. This is called Nibbles the Book Monster. This is another one of our favorites. It's about this little book monster named Nibbles who likes to nibble everything, especially books. And he nibbles his way into other people's stories. So you can see the little hole where he nibbled his way into Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And he messes up the story, and he nibbles his way out of that one and into the next story. So this is Little Red Riding Hood. So you follow the little monster through the stories that he messes up, and you'll have to find out what happens to the end if he gets caught. This is called Busy Trucks on the Go. This is a fun read aloud for anyone who's interested in trucks or vehicles, so lots of little boys will like this book. It's about a boy and his dad that go on a drive around town and see all kinds of vehicles. So they see all different construction trucks, they see tractors. I was looking for my son's favorite page, that's the fire truck. He always says, Mom, show him the fire truck. So there's a fire, the fire truck's coming, there's an ambulance. And it rhymes, so that's good. This is called The Usborne Book of Princess Stories. This is a dual reader like Farmyard Tales that you'll see later if you have not seen that one already. It has a simple line of text at the top and a more complicated line of text at the bottom. And the story makes sense if you read just the top line, or if you read just the bottom line, or if you read both lines together. So this is a great book for when kids are just learning to read. Fun stories and really cute illustrations as well. So that's Princess Stories. This is a fun activity book we have called Fingerprint Activities Animals. So you use these ink pads to make your fingerprints in the different scenes, and then there's directions at the top that tell you how to make your fingerprints into animals or nature or something that goes with the scene. So you've got little koala bears in this scene. Use your fingerprints to make horses and sheep in this scene. It's a fun art book for kids. This is another fun art book. I think this is my favorite Usborne art book. It's called Art Treasury. The way this book works is it shows you a famous painting. So for example, this is The Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. It tells you about the painting and about the author and about his style. And then on the next page, it walks you through how to do a painting or an art piece that is similar and in a much more doable way. So this is a really fun book. And last but not least, this is called 1001 Things to Spot in the Sea. We have a bunch of books in this 1001 Things to Spot series. And this is great for number recognition and counting skills, and also keeping your kids busy and quiet, either in the car or while you're at church. So they just have to find that number of the items in the picture. So that's a really fun one as well. Thanks for watching. I'll show you more soon.